very important sources for that. Your YouTube videos, for the explainers, the MCQ series on different reports, budget, economic surveys, that provided me with very good practice. I also extracted content out of those explainer videos to include in my notes.
Oliveboard का वो मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम था, उसमें अनिल सर के 2-3 सेशंस हुए थे, उन्होंने भी गाइड किया कि क्या अप्रोच रखना चाहिए, अगर मेंस का पेपर के लिए प्रिपेयर करना है तो वो कैसे प्रिपेयर करना है, प्रीलिम्स के लिए अगर अप्रोच रखना है तो वो कैसे रखना है, तो इस तरह से ओवरऑल फिर एग्जीक्यूशन के साथ में हुआ।
Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. Okay, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the finance current affairs session. So let's quickly start the session, guys. What will be the agenda here? The agenda is very much clear. Weekly finance current affairs session we are going to discuss with concept discussion. We'll be taking some economic times articles as well, just to have a quick idea of what is the direction of news, right? And you'll be having some extra dose news as well for your homework purpose, so you can quickly read the extra dose. Okay, so these will be the finance current affairs that I'll be covering in particular this session, right? Particularly in this session, these will be the finance current affairs news. So I've given you the index at a glance. The very first news for today is major GST rate rationalization effective from 22nd of September 2025, and all the newspapers already flooded with this particular news, right? What are the major changes? We used to have 4 slabs, now we are only having 2 slabs, right? 5% and 18%. So all the 12% related things are now merged in 5%, and all the 28% related things are merged in now 18%. So now we have a flat 5% and 18% slab. At the same time, government has introduced a new 40% demerit rate for the luxury goods and for the sin goods, right? So this is nothing but rationalization. We don't need to have so many rates, but only 2 rates as of now, 5% and 18%. Okay, 5% and 18%. So definitely this will stimulate the consumption, it will simplify taxation and address certain issues in the GST. Okay, very good evening everyone, very good evening Chetan, Bhakti. So what is the key sector impact? Basically, there are a lot of goods which is going to be impacted by this particular news, obviously in the positive sense only, right? However, what you need to guys remember is this one: insurance. The health insurance and the life insurance will be completely GST exempt. Now they are 0%, right? There won't be any kind of rate on the life and the health insurance policy. So that will definitely drastically reduce the cost of insurance in India, right? So this can be important for your examination perspective. Okay, rate rationalization, there are only 2 rates now, 5% and 18%. Plus you need to know that there is complete waiver of GST here on the life and the health insurance, right? So definitely this will cause a initial loss to the government. As of now, 48,000 crore loss is expected here, but government is definitely not going to take losses. In the meanwhile, they will be able to recover the losses, and definitely this will boost the demand as overall, right? So overall, because of the supply, or I can say the demand boost, will definitely increase the revenues. As of now, they need to take the hit. So this is nothing but GST 2.0 simplification process that we just discussed. Next is the news related to UPI. UPI has surpassed 20 billion transactions in August 2025. Okay, 20 billion transactions in August 2025. They have crossed it for the very first time. The monthly revenue has crossed this particular threshold. Though there is a slight decline in the transaction value as compared to the previous month. Previous month was having something around 25.08 lakh crore in July 2025. However, in the August 2025 month, it was a slight decline, 24.85 lakh crore. Still, if I talk about year on year basis, if I compare the August 2025 data with the August 2024 data, there is a 21% increase year on year basis, right? There is a 21% increase year on year basis. And obviously we all know that PhonePe and Google Pay are commanding the entire, I can say, majority of the share here. So PhonePe is the market leader of UPI, followed by Google Pay. Now what you can do is you can use this particular finance current affairs in your descriptive paper, right? You can use this in your descriptive paper. And now UPI accounts approximates 85% of the digital transactions in India. So that's great, right? And it's nearly 50% of the global real-time digital payments. And India has expanding this internationally as well. In today's lecture, we will be also seeing about how they are expanding it internationally. Okay. Next one. Now this data is being published on the RBI website. I think recently in first week of September it got published. India's Q1 of financial year 2026 balance of payment data and current account deficit data, right? So India's current account deficit is now 2.4 billion USD, okay, 2.4 billion USD, which is nothing but 0.2% of the GDP. This is the quarter one data of the financial year 2026. It was recently published on the RBI website in first week of September, right? So earlier we used to have 8.6. Now it is just 2.4 billion. So it's a drastic, I can say significant improvement is there in terms of current account deficit, right? Now analysts were also not expecting such a significant drop, and it is totally driven because of service exports. There was a surge in the service exports. There were inflows from the remittances, from the inward remittances, and merchandise trade remained a weak link. Please do remember, merchandise trade as of now is not contributing in the reduction of the current account deficit, rather it's creating a deficit, okay? Because of the service exports and the remittance inflows, there was a huge, I can say, decline in the current account deficit, right? Balance of payment, if I talk about balance of payment and financial flows, so despite of a lower CAD, the overall balance of payment remained at a surplus of $4.5 billion. Okay, please do remember this number. Now it was again slightly lower than the earlier one, which was stated in Q1 of the financial year 2025. As of now, we are talking about the Q1 of financial year 2026. So what we are doing here is year on year basis comparison, right? Again, the financial inflows was supported by FDI, FPI and ECB. Highest amount was supported by FDI, okay, $5.7 billion. And here we can see on the RBI website only, on 1st of September it got published on the RBI website. We can have a look at the balance of payment data. All the data is the same only here, right? You need to remember this thing. First of all, the CAD as of now, right, there is a 21% increase year on year basis, plus you need to remember the merchandise trade deficit as well, that it was still in deficit. It is not contributing as of now. On year basis, it is, I can say, widened rather than contributing. Your worse hoti ja rahi situation if I talk about merchandise goods ki, hai na? Foreign direct investment recorded a net inflow. So there was a net inflow in the FDI of 5.7 billion in Q1 of 2026. FPI की बात करें तो वापस वहाँ से भी net inflow ही हुआ था 1.6 billion का. ओके, सो इसके अलावा आपको FDI और FPI का डेटा भी पता होना चाहिए, इसका ट्रेंड भी पता होना चाहिए, राइट? ओके, देन देयर वाज अ accretion of USD $4.5 billion to the forex reserve, to the foreign exchange reserve as of now. Okay, as compared to the earlier one, in the last year we were having $5.2 billion accumulation, and as of now we are just having 4.5, right? And there is a tabular format as well which is given here. Okay, not to go into too much detail because there are too much numbers in this particular news, so we just need to understand the major things, not all the data, right? And it's not even practically possible to learn all the data. Next one, this can be important for your examination. NPCI enhances UPI limits to 10 lakhs within 24 hours. So what happens is, let's suppose I did a transaction right now. The limit which will apply will be per transaction limit, right? The limit which will be applicable will be per transaction limit. And let's suppose if I want to do another transaction within 24 hours, so that's called as the aggregate limit. If I want to do 2 transactions within 24 hours, it is called as aggregate limit. For per transaction, it is just 1 transaction, right? So as of now, it has made effective from 15th of September 2025 for categories such as capital market investments, insurance, government e-marketplace, right? GEM. The per transaction limit has been raised to 5 lakh rupees. So for GEM, for capital market transactions, for insurance related transaction, the limit is now 5 lakh rupees. For travel, for collection, for FX retail, via Bharat Bill payment system, for jewelry purchase, again it has enhanced to 5 lakh rupee. For credit card payment, per transaction limit is 5 lakh, and the daily cap, the aggregate cap is 6 lakh rupees here, right? Now these limits, you need to note that these limits are enhanced only in case of P2M transaction. Let's suppose I'm a person, right? P2M. That means I'm transacting with a merchant, right? With a merchant. So it should not be a P2P transaction, right? Let's suppose if I'm transferring 5 lakh rupees to Chetan, that's not possible because that's a P2P transaction and not a P2M transaction. P2P transaction limit remains the same at 1 lakh rupees per day. However, they have changed the P2M transaction limit considering the increasing use of UPI payments, right? So in the summarized manner, I have jotted down each and everything for you guys. For capital market transaction, insurance and GEM, travel and collection, it is 5 lakh rupee per transaction and 10 lakh rupee daily. For credit card payment, it is 5 lakh rupee per transaction and 6 lakh rupee daily. That's it. Okay, so you need to remember these limits, can be important for your examination definitely. Okay, that's why I have marked the news important here. Okay, so please do remember this one. Next, not directly related to your examination, but the concept which is used here is very, very important for your examination. SIF. Multiple times in my session I have told you guys, SIF will be a very, very crucial topic. Why? Because there is no such product as of now which is bridging the gap between a 100 rupee ka mutual fund to a 50 lakh ka portfolio management services, right? So it's a newly introduced product, SIF, Specialized Investment Fund. So here Bandhan AMC receives the SEBI approval for the SIF to launch Aruda SIF platform. It is the name of the platform. Basically, they cannot use their own AMC name, right? I hope you guys remember. Mutual fund companies cannot use their own AMC name. They need to take a separate name for launching SIF, right? याद आ रहा है कुछ? या सिर्फ मुझे याद आ रहा है? And can you guys tell me the name of the organization of the company who has launched the first SIF in India? Anyone? Yes, 10 lakhs is the ticket size. Can you guys tell me the name of the first SIF? Is it the Atileva or Quant? I think it is Quant, right? Yes, Quant Mutual Fund. So Quant is a AMC basically. They are having so many mutual funds as well. So they have launched their first SIF, right? They have launched their first SIF. Perfect. So guys, please do remember this particular finance current affairs can be very, very important. Plus what you need to do is you need to do complete coverage of whatever is related to SIF. I feel that this can come in your examination. Okay, a high probability question, a very high probability question. Okay. Okay, in some of the articles, Edelweiss ka bhi aa raha hai. Okay. So I think you have already highlighted it. I have also told you that I'll check, but I think मैं भूल गया, right? So definitely मैं आज check कर लूँगा इस चीज़ को. Okay. I'll definitely check this. So guys, these SIFs are also having unhedged short derivative positions. That means, let's suppose you can easily short it, right? What do you mean by short selling? You can sell it before buying it, right? So let's suppose in the futures market I have sold it, and later on I can buy it without even hedging it, right? Why? Because it's highly risky. So these kind of things are also allowed in the SIF. The minimum ticket size is 10 lakh rupees, not less than that. And we have done a lot of things around the SIF, right? Very, very important for your examination. Achha, this is just for judging the trend. Microfinance institution disbursements are declining in Q1 of financial year 2026. The MFIs has disbursed 22,805 crore through approximately 41.5 lakh accounts as of now, which is a decline, which is a 23.6% decline. Okay, and what do you mean by AUM? When we talk about financial institutions, it's nothing but a loan portfolio, right? How much loan they have delivered as of now, So just for judging the trend, and here top states are also there, like in terms of portfolio outstanding performance, but I don't feel that you guys need to remember these stuff, right? Just for judging the trend. Launch of microsite for the bank notes, and I can see that on 10th of September, RBI has intimated on the website, RBI has published on the website that a launch of microsite, basically it's using the same domain rbi.org.in. So it's indiancurrency.rbi.org.in. It's nothing but a RBI initiative where the public can go and access information related to bank notes, like the features of the bank loan, what bank notes, and what are the design features, what are the security features. You can even have a 360 view of the banknotes. Okay, you can even have a 360 view of the banknotes in multimedia and audio, video and animation format. So you just need to remember that this was an initiative of the RBI, not so important. Still, we cover each and everything in the finance current affairs session. Plus I also clearly tell you what can be important, what cannot be important, right? Though exam ke andar definitely anything can come. Still, best guess, right? Best guess has its own role, right? Next one, Amazon completes the acquisition of AXIO. It's nothing but an organization which is a NBFC. So as of now, Amazon has secured a NBFC license, I can say, right? They have secured a NBFC license is what I can say. So they will be involved in directly lending in India as of now. And why they have done it? Any idea? For those who are doing finance current affairs from 6-8 months, any idea? Can you tell me which e-commerce platform has already done it? The NBFC license. I think it was Flipkart, right? Earlier Flipkart has secured the license of NBFC, I think few months back, 4-5 months back. Yes. So that's why obviously it's Amazon, a direct competitor of Flipkart. So they also need to expand the base. So they have also done the same thing. They have also secured the NBFC license as of now. So AXIO will continue to operate as a wholly owned subsidiary of Amazon, right? Perfect. Satyarth and Chetan, perfect. Flipkart ने किया था, right? NBFC का license लिया था, तो obviously अब competitors हैं, तो they also need to take, right? And I think we have studied 4-5 months back, right? We have studied this Flipkart wala news 4-5 months back. Phase 2 of Niveshak Didi. So what is Niveshak Didi program, guys? It's nothing but a collaboration of IEPFA and IPPB, Indian Post Payment Bank. Please do remember this particular news can be very, very important for the examination, right? There was phase 1 in 2023. The phase 2 is on from April 2025. So I think in April month also we have covered this particular news, and just there are some key highlights which I found on a news link, so that's why I have posted here. Okay, not so important again this one. RBI clears appointment of Mr. R Gandhi as chairman of Yes Bank. So again they have reappointed the chairman, Mr. R Gandhi, for a next term year. Okay, now this can be important, this can be very, very important. it's a UPI related news plus it's a internationalization of UPI related news. So India to lead UPI-UPU integration. So what India is doing, they are kind of integrating the UPI with the UPU. Now what is UPU? UPU is nothing but Universal Postal Union. It's a postal union, right? So what we are trying to do here is, we are trying to form a new system by linking the India's UPI with the Universal Postal Union, that's UPU, which is a global postal payment network. It's a global postal payment network. So even if you are operating in an international country, I can say, even if you are operating in an international country, you can use the UPU, and via UPU you can pay me via UPI. So what I'm doing is I'm just integrating the UPI technology in the UPU. So even if you are living in USA, in UK, you can access the global postal payment network. In that you can make me UPI payment, and that's an amazing initiative. Okay, it's an amazing initiative. It's nothing but a global remittance bridge. We are just creating a global remittance bridge using the India's UPI and the world's postal network here for making any kind of cross-border transfer. So this will definitely make the transfer cheaper, faster and easier to make, and it's nothing but internationalization of our technology UPI. And we all know that digital payments का chapter बहुत important है, right? UPI का data भी बहुत ज़बरदस्त आया है in terms of volume, plus ये internationalization related news है, high chance है कि आपको exam में मिल सकती है. Okay, high chance that this particular news can come in the examination, so please don't ignore this particular news. देखो जो नॉर्मल सी होती है, जो लग रहा होता है कि आने का चांस कम है, मैं खुद ही बता देता हूँ, राइट? बट वी नीड टू कवर ईच एंड एवरीथिंग. व्हाई? टू इंक्रीज द सरफेस एरिया ऑफ अवर लक. एनीथिंग कैन कम इन द एग्जामिनेशन. अच्छा, और अगर नहीं आती है तो आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, लेट सपोज यू डोंट गेट अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज, स्टिल दिस न्यूज इन योर ब्रेन. यू नो SIF का लिमिट इज 10 लाख रुपीज. यू नो कि यहाँ पे UPI का कोलैबोरेशन इंटीग्रेशन UPU से हुआ था, राइट? यू नो दैट थिंग. What best you can do, even if it's not coming in the objective paper, you can use it in the descriptive section. Again, it will fetch you marks, right? So there is no harm in remembering, in learning the important news. Definitely, it can be a game changer for you guys. If not in objective, can be in descriptive. At least you have some lines to write, right? So always be positive. RBI study, गुजरात एंड महाराष्ट्र डोमिनेट द बैंक फाइनेंस प्रोजेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स. ऑब्वियस सी बात है यार, गुजरात और महाराष्ट्र के पास बहुत बड़ा बेस है, प्लस ऑल द इंडस्ट्रीज आर ऑल्सो देयर, राइट? सो एज पर द रिसेंट RBI study, गुजरात हैज कंसिस्टेंटली लेड इन द नंबर ऑफ बैंक बैक्ड प्रोजेक्ट्स, with Maharashtra ranking second over the last 4 years. So from the last 4 years, Gujarat is on first and Maharashtra is on second in terms of bank financed project investments. So whatever projects they are launching, obviously they are taking finance from the banks only, and Gujarat is topping the list as of now, and Maharashtra is on the second position. Okay, together with Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan, again the top 5 states are accounting for at least 60% of the total project cost. Okay, so the top 5 are close to 60% again. Not to go into too much detail, even this much will be fine. Even this much understanding of this news will be fine. Next one, NPCI grants third party application provider approval to Viona Fintech. So NPCI has recently approved Viona Fintech, a third party application provider. What is third party application provider? Definitely we'll be discussing. Once I'm done with the news, you'll definitely come to know what is TPAP. So they have designed the app, GramPay. They have designed the app, right? And they'll be offering UPI services as well in collaboration with the partner banks. So what they are doing is, this app is designed for serving the farmers, small merchants, right? For local communities. What they will be doing is, they'll be facilitating the digital collections, payouts and frictionless UPI transaction. It's nothing but a farmers marketplace. Okay, it's nothing but a farmers marketplace where they can directly connect with the buyers, right? So farmers are always the seller. Now they need to connect with the buyer, so they can do it via this application. UPI ecosystem is already enabled in this particular thing. So this will result in better pricing because they are directly connecting with the buyer, right? Plus UPI is also there, so faster settlement of the trades will also take place. Okay. Moderate important. Okay, moderate important. This news is moderately important. Next one, BriskPay launches unified cross-border payment platform for MSMEs. Now those who are watching the finance current affairs from close to 5 to 6 months can remember BriskPay, right? What is BriskPay? Earlier they have got a in principle approval from the RBI for cross-border payments, right? If you guys remember, now they have launched a unified cross-border payment platform for MSMEs. Again a moderate level, right? A moderate level news. And don't go into too much details of these kind of moderate level news. Now guys, I have covered a SEBI related circular. It was a draft circular actually. SEBI's new intraday position monitoring framework, right? It was a position monitoring framework related to intraday for index options, if you guys remember. This is effective from 1st of October 2025, and now they have released the final circular of this. Now they have released the final circular for this, and this can be very, very important for your examination. Again, I'm marking this. This can be important, right? So SEBI has introduced a new entity level framework. What we need to remember here is the applicability date. It is applicable only for the index derivative, equity index derivative, specifically the index related options. The net position limit as of now is capped at 5,000 crore. The net position limit is capped at 5,000 crore. Gross position limit, any side, long side or short side, is at 10,000 crore. Is at 10,000 crore. Very good, Chetan. 4 random snapshots वाला है ना, 4 random snapshots वाला, and high chances कि यही exam में आने वाला है. You need to do monitoring. You need to take at least 4 random snapshot, right? This is for the exchanges. The exchanges need to take at least 4 random snapshots during the trade, during the trading day, right? And especially one random, not random, but one snapshot during the peak activity between 2:45 PM to 3:30 PM. Why? Because this is the closing time of the market. 3:30 PM is the closing time of the market. So better है कि end time पे अगर if you are taking a snapshot, it will definitely give you a sharp volatility, right? So one snapshot in this particular zone, rest total on a total basis you need to take 4 random snapshots. So I think this can directly come in your examination, this 4 random snapshot. Okay, definitely gross and net position limit can also come, so please do remember this 4 random snapshot is very, very important. Okay, now I have already covered it on the YouTube channel, that's why not I'm going into too much detail. Why? Because this is a complex circular, right? I think it's a 30 to 40 minute video. You can definitely watch it. Okay, again I'll be coming up with a SEBI circular related video soon. Now this is a old news, I can say, right? It's close to June or July, I think June or July, but still, because the last date was 10th of September, this is nothing but a hackathon, right? So Securities Market Hackathon, please do remember this thing, Securities Market Hackathon. This is powered by BSC, Bombay Stock Exchange, CDSL, our depository, K Fintech, which is RTA, Registrar and Transfer Agent, right? We do have Registrar and Transfer Agents like CAMS, K Fintech, NSDL, which is again a depository, and SEBI can be very, very important. This is a hackathon. In hackathons, what we do? This hackathon brings together the India's brightest minds to solve the real world problems in the security market. So whatever real life problem we are having in the securities market, these hackathons are there to collate multiple people to work on different ideas on problems and suggest a good solution, right? That's what hackathons are for. RBI is also conducting multiple hackathons, we already know. Go to the RBI Innovation Hub, you will find hackathon related information. Now this is SEBI related hackathon. It's a joint effort of BSC, CDSL, K Fintech, NSDL, SEBI, right? Major market players is what I can say, depositories and RTAs and SEBI itself. The name is Securities Market Hackathon. Please do remember the name and the things that I have underlined. Okay, can be important, can be very, very important, can directly come in your examination. I don't know why people always ignore SEBI related circular. If you have a look at the 2024 year paper, previous year question paper, you will find most of the things related to SEBI and not RBI, right? You will be finding most of the things related to SEBI and not RBI. So please try to cover at least the important SEBI circulars which I am posting. And we can see that this particular news is related to July. Okay, this particular news is related to July. So SEBI has launched Securities Market Hackathon in July 2025. Again guys, July month भी तो important है ना, ये तो हमारे अभी से लास्ट 3 months में आ रहा है. जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर तो अभी कंप्लीट हुआ नहीं है. सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Next are some of the Economic Times articles. We are not going to discuss all the articles in a very detailed manner. The idea is just to cover. You are already reading a good financial newspaper. It can be Live Mint, it can be Business Standard, it can be Economic Times. So the idea is just to give you a direction, like what topics can be important rather than reading the articles, right? We are already covering each and everything related to newspapers in the Live Mint session, right? So that's why I don't want to waste your time again. You're already doing the Live Mint session, which is very, very useful for the examination, right? Before moving ahead, would like to tell you guys, this is the Test Your RBI Grade B Readiness initiative that Oliveboard has framed here. So there are 10 questions. You can definitely answer these 10 questions and you'll be getting a personalized report card, which will be giving you also the preparation related recommendation. Link is there in the description. You can later on check it out, right? First news, falling NIIs. What is NII? Net interest income. Net interest income. What I need to pay plus what I am earning. The difference of what I need to pay plus what I am earning, right? What I am earning minus what I need to pay is nothing but net interest income, which banks are earning. So falling NIIs hurt private banks' profitability growth. Public peers do better. So public sector banks are outperforming private sector banks in case of falling NIIs, right? So what is the meaning here? मतलब public sector banks का NII उतना जोर से नहीं गिर रहा जितना private sector banks का गिर रहा है, right? Now let me just give you a context. Let's suppose RBI is slashing the repo rate again and again. Will it impact my net interest income? As a bank, will it impact the net interest income? Can anyone tell me? If RBI is slashing the repo rate again and again, which RBI is actually doing, right? In the past 6 months, 1 year, we have seen that. Will it impact my net interest income? It will definitely impact. It will definitely impact, right? Sir, why it will impact? Let's suppose you are taking money at 6% per annum from FDs. You are a bank. You are taking money at 6% per annum from FDs. That's your deposits. And you are giving out loan. Let's suppose at 10%. So 4% is your margin, right? You are lending at 10%. You are taking deposits at 6%. And let's suppose RBI has slashed repo rate, let's suppose by 0.5%, 50 basis points. So what will happen? Both the rates will decline, but your margin will remain protected. Your margin will remain 4% only. So how it is going to impact my NII? Any opinion, guys? If the repo rates are declined, my FD rates are going to be down. My lending rates are also going to be down. So net impact will be 0. I'll be still earning 4%. Any opinion? Whatever I have said, is it correct? Whatever I just said, is it correct? Is it completely correct? It is not completely correct. It is not completely correct. Why? Because the revenue takes a hit directly. Whatever you are earning on the lending, will be immediately impacted by the repo rate. Why? Because it's based on some benchmark. Ultimately, it's based on some benchmark. Whereas the deposit rates, whatever deposits you have already taken as fixed deposits for 5 years, for 10 years, for 3 years, you need to pay fixed amount of interest on them, right? So that's what causes the monetary policy transmission error, or I can say a standard deviation, kind of a deviation, right? That's what causes the variance. Why? Because the lending rates are going to be down immediately on all the loans which are tied to a benchmark. But that's not going to happen in case of deposits. The old deposits, there is no way. You need to pay them the fixed rate, and that causes a difference here, right? That disturbs the monetary policy transmission, right? So there is a lot of data here. You don't have to remember a lot of data. This was just to give you an idea, like the private sector banks are not able to outperform public sector banks in case of NII hurts. Why? Because of the rate cuts, because of the RBI rate cuts. Okay, so don't go with line by line, right? Don't go line by line in this particular data. You don't have to do it line by line, this particular one. And guys, whenever I talk about private sector banks and public sector banks, you should connect this with the quarterly BSR which was recently published, right? BSR 1 was related to credit. I think we have already done this report on in the last session of the Finance Current Affairs. BSR 1 was related to credit. I have also posted a separate video for this one as well. So BSR 1 was related to credit, and in BSR 1 also it was stated that public sector banks recorded a higher credit growth. Public sector banks NIIs are not falling as much as private sector banks, so that's positive for public sector banks. Public sector banks recorded a higher credit growth rather than as compared to the private sector banks. Again, they are outpacing. But if we talk about BSR2, which is related to deposits, right? Which is related to deposits. In terms of deposits, the private sector banks are outpacing, right? Because the private sector banks are able to grow their deposits by 12.4%, but the public sector banks are only able to grow their deposits at 10.2%. Okay. So just try to connect whenever you are reading any newspaper or any article or watching any video. What's best is if you are able to connect it right now, you'll be able to remember that thing in the examination. That's for sure. If you are not able to connect it right now, it might be a possibility that you lost the track in the examination of that particular connection or the news. So I always tell, please connect, because once you connect it, it becomes a permanent connection at least for 6 to 7 months, right? And अब अपना एग्जाम तो 1 महीने 1.5 महीने में निपट जाएगा, 2-3 महीने में, राइट? तो वहाँ से उसके बाद हमको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. अगर हमारा एक बार फेज़ 1 फेज़ 2 खत्म हो जाता है तो हमारा मेन एक टेंशन खत्म हो जाता है, राइट? सो ऑलवेज ट्राई टू कनेक्ट इट. Next is related to a bill to replace tobacco cess with new levy in the winter season. So again there was a news related to there will be a bill that will replace the tobacco cess with a new levy in the winter session, right? So in the winter session, definitely government will be introducing a bill to replace the tobacco session, is what you need to know. As of now, the cess is of the 28% GST products, right? Here is the revenue data from the tobacco as well, but you don't have to remember this data, okay? Please don't remember this data, not relevant for you guys. Just to give you a quick understanding, like in PFRD examination also, they have asked, I think, Genius Act, right? It is related to stable coins, right? And we have discussed multiple times in Finance Current Affairs session related to stable coin, blockchain technology and whatnot. So again, I'm just giving you an idea. There is a bill which is going to replace the tobacco cess. Next, banks and fintechs are cutting their credit card cap to secure more and more users, right? By cutting the credit card cap means they are just willing to onboard more and more users even at a low cost, right? So whatever they are earning as of now, they are keeping the fees as quite low and they want to secure more and more users. Why? Because credit card is a very lucrative business for, I can say, all the financial institutions, right? All the financial institutions. So this trend has started I can say with ventures like Fintech ventures like Super Money and Utkarsh Small Finance Bank, and now all are following the trend as of now, right? Not so important. This particular article, again, I can say you can definitely read, but two takeaways from this particular article: gold on a hot run, central banks and RBI go slow on buy as geopolitics also waits. So basically it's about gold, right? And we have seen that in the recent 1 and 2 years, gold has given a significant run up, a great run up. Plus there were a lot of things related to gold. There were a lot of news related to gold, like accumulation of gold by central banks, not just in India, but in the entire world, I will say, right? So try to do at least the news which came in 6 to 8 months, last 6 to 8 months, which were related to gold, right? It can be like the RBI current holdings of gold, right? Or how much RBI has accumulated gold in the recent quarter or in the recent financial year, right? And that we have already covered in the finance newspaper. So what's the discussion about the Economic Times here is, what is the use case of Economic Times here is as of now? We are already covering the live mint, plus I am giving you insights like what can be the major pointers that they can ask you in the examination, Now I have written each and everything that we have already discussed in the previous sessions of our finance current affairs. And why central banks have now slowed down in buying the gold. First is the risk management. Whenever you are buying something at a maximum price, or I can say all-time high price, that decision becomes a riskier decision, right? Plus it can be a tactical pause as well. They are finding the way to come out of the US tariff wars and so on, right? Plus lower inflation fear is also there. India is very well within the inflation targeting range. One more thing that I would like to discuss with you guys is India and China alternate payment systems. This was again an article in the Economic Times. A geoeconomic shift. So they have mentioned a terminology, geoeconomics. What is geoeconomics? Intersection of economics and global power. Intersection of the economics and global power. Let's suppose this is economics and this is the global power. What do we call this? Geoeconomics. What US is doing? US tariffs, sanctions, dollar dominance, right? That's nothing but playing the geoeconomics. So India and China are developing an alternative payment system here, which could significantly challenge the US dominance globally in the financial world. Okay, that can be a major pivot in the international trade and finance as well, if they are able to do such a kind of thing like alternate payment system rather than just using the USD, right? And they all have their own competitive advantage, right? India is having UPI, China is having rare earth energy sources, Russia is also having their own system of SPFS, which is an alternative to SWIFT technology, right? So again, they are developing this particular system, just to giving you a direction, right? Digital payment system chapter is very important. You can use these things in your descriptive answer writing. Have a look. Majority of the students are giving a general answer, but if you are able to incorporate these things in your answer, new terms, new concepts, definitely it will give you an edge for sure, right? Again, this is PMI related, which we have already discussed. So that's all from my end for today, guys. And we have launched a PYQ related thing as well on the website. You can attempt the PYQ of 2024 on the Oliveboard website, that too free of cost, in a exam oriented manner. Plus we have launched the crash course as well. So in case if you are looking for mentorship, then we are always available. You can check out our course. Plus in case if you are having any queries related to finance, you can directly reach out to me on Telegram. You can definitely reach out to me in the live sessions, on the paid classes, on the YouTube, and you can also reach out to me on this particular Telegram channel, right, for clearing your doubts and all. Okay guys, so that's all from my end for today. Thank you so much for attending the session. See you soon tomorrow in the MCQ session related to finance current affairs. Okay, bye bye, take care guys, see you.